Hi everybody, and welcome again to our first person interview segment this week, sponsored by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and their sponsoring agent with offices in Troy, Piqua, and Covington. That would be the Coverman Dickerson Agency representing Buckeye Insurance. Our guest this week is a young man for all the right reasons who would have been the starting quarterback on one of the area's top Division VI football teams this year in Covington. We're talking about Jake Bitner, who through circumstances none of his own, will not play quarterback this year or any other position for the Bucs due to an injury, a concussion he sustained in the Bucs' first scrimmage a couple of weeks ago down at Eaton. And Jake Bitner, first of all, thank you for being with us this week. Thanks for talking with us about your situation. But tell us a little bit first and foremost about the frustration of waiting so long to be a senior quarterback on a great football program and have something like this happen to you. It's not much fun, is it?
Oh no, it's not fun at all. I've been wanting to play football for Covington since I was little. I was always out there on the sidelines being a water boy. It was always my dream to play football for Covington. I got to do it for 3 years, but senior year, just not able to do it.
You know what a lot of people don't understand and don't realize is that you missed most of last season. I think 6 games during the bulk of the season with a broken leg, and then came back in the regional semifinal game with Marion Local. Your football team is up in that game, controlling that game, and then you break the same leg in the second half. You're a little bit snake bit maybe, eh?
Oh yeah, I know. I've had my share of injuries. My freshman year I had injuries. Sophomore year I got through it clean, didn't miss a game. Last year I had a concussion during the summer. About the same time I got this one, I was able to get back for the first game and I broke my leg against Bradford. And downhill from there, basically.
You know, a lot of kids would, or people for that matter, adults would handle your situation, feeling sorry for themselves and feeling like they are snake bit. You haven't done that at all.
No, I want to be here for my team. I want to help them get through the season because we could have a heck of a year. I mean, we have the talent and just the drive, have one heck of a season. I want to be out there with them and help coach them, get them through the year.
Jake, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people who have never played competitive sports who would look at your situation in a negative light and say, well, that's good enough reason not to spend as much time, not to spend as much attention or money on competitive athletics. But I know people like you and so many others who have played, and I know what you're going to answer, how you're going to answer this, are saying that the risks or the benefits far outweigh the risks of injury in sports when you consider what it means to you at the time and then what it means to you afterwards.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be a risk of getting hurt during the year, but I mean...
There's a risk of driving to school.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's worth it completely. I mean, high school sports, there's nothing like it. I mean, they say go play football in college, but it's not like running out in the field on Friday night. You're always going to have a special feeling inside of you. So it's worth it completely. I mean, if you have a chance to play. I mean, it's the best thing you'll ever do.
And especially in a town like Covington.
Oh, yeah. Great tradition. Yep.
Our guest on First Person this week is Jake Bitner of the Covington Buccaneers. We'll take this break and come back in a moment with more with Jake and the 2010 Bucs. Had a big win last week. We'll talk about that right after this message from the Coverman Dickerson Agency representing Buckeye Insurance in Troy, Covington, and Piqua.
The Coverman Dickerson Agency, with offices in Troy, Piqua, and Covington, is pleased to be the sponsoring Buckeye Insurance Group agent for this first-person interview. For farm, auto, and homeowner insurance, Coverman Dickerson is one of the area's fastest-growing Buckeye providers, with a history of service and competitive rates. And we're also an outstanding source of coverage for families with young drivers. For farm, auto, and home policies, call the Coverman Dickerson Agency, proud to represent Buckeye Insurance Group.
Once again, we welcome you to this week's First Person interview segment with Jake Bitner of the Covington Buccaneers. Big win for you on Friday night and a very gratifying win given the circumstances that a lot of people know by this time of losing 2 former members of this school community. One a former football player, one cheerleader advisor with Covington. Heavy hearts in your football team. Going into the New Bremen game, you get down 21-6. A lot of teams would maybe have said, you know, next week maybe. Your team came back and did it in dramatic fashion, winning in the final moments of the game. I know that made you feel pretty good.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was great. The town came together, football team came together, everybody was there. just everything we've gone through that whole week just brought us closer together all as one. And we wanted to play that game for those two people. And we fought as hard as we could, like you said, being down 21-6, most teams would quit, but that's not how we are. I mean, we fight for everything until 0 seconds left on the clock. We're going to keep fighting. I told Isaiah after we fumbled, going in to tie the game up, I told him the game's not over until there's no time left on that clock. We're going to get the ball back and we're going to win this game. And so I had to get him up, and definitely got the ball back, made some smart plays, and got a field goal through.
Ironic, even with your injury and you're done playing football this year, you have a role by which you can help this football team a great deal. Isaiah Winston, of course, the junior backup, taking your spot now at quarterback, but Coach Miller came to you and said, hey, I want you on the sideline. I want you to help mentor Isaiah Winston at the quarterback position. So you have a very important role on this football team on Friday night still.
Yeah. I mean, after every drive, when he comes on the field, I'm right there in his ear talking to him about the good stuff he's done, positive. You always want to be positive with a younger kid just stepping up like that. I mean, but you show them what they need, what they can work on and everything. But I mean, it's not easy going in there and playing, especially getting thrown in like he did. I mean, he does have experience from last year when I broke my leg, but it's not easy at all.
You know, another irony about this is it puts you in a position of getting a little on-the-job training for something that I know that you shared with me recently that you want to do after school, and that's come back, teach and coach football. Tell me about some of the things you're borrowing or taking from your experience of being with Dave Miller on Friday nights on the sideline.
Well, I'm just watching how he goes at everything, just what he thinks through the game and his game plans and stuff. Just how he treats the kids. I mean, and I'm going to take that because, I mean, Coach Miller's done a lot for me. We're close, and so I'm going to take everything he does and use it when I'm able to coach and use everything I can.
There's nothing like on-the-job training.
Yeah, no, there's not.
A lot of expectation again for the Covington Bucks in Division 6. People across the state that don't even know this team in terms of a first name basis of some of the players always have an expectation of what Covington's going to do. I know you have high hopes, and particularly high hopes now, because you'd like to see this thing go a step further.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of our guys, we're experienced. I mean, a lot of our guys have played a couple years of varsity football already, and we got the talent and the hard work to go big places, and we dream big here. I mean, we don't want to go to the minimum. We want to do as much as we can, and so we have high expectations, and we're going to take one game at a time and get there.
It hasn't happened in Covington since 1973, the last time they won a state title in football. I wish you the best this year, and let's hope that maybe fortune finally smiles on Jake Bitner and the Bucks, okay?
Yep, well, thank you.
Thanks for the time. Jake Bitner, our guest this week on First Person, a production of PressProsMagazine.com, brought to you again by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and their sponsoring agent, the Coverman Dickerson Agency, representing Buckeye in Troy, Piqua, and Covington. Join us again next week for another First Person segment. And until then, for our sponsors and Jake Bitner, this is Sonny Folk saying thanks for joining us again on PressProsMagazine.com.
If you are looking for quality insurance protection from a reliable company, sold by professionals in communities like yours, that's what you'll get from Buckeye Insurance Group.
Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
To find your local Buckeye agent, visit buckeye-ins.com. Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
Insuring the heartland.